So, thanks for coming out, and we can give you a kind of a snapshot of what's taken place. Obviously, a lot of the details we're still working on, and you're not going to hear those at this time. But what we can confirm is that we've had 2 people who've been shot. One of those people who was shot is deceased and is still here at the scene. Medical examiner's office is here dealing with that individual. We have a second person who's been shot, who's been taken to a local hospital in critical condition. These are both adult males. The chief can give you some sense as to the suspect's status.
At this point, the suspect is, of course, under arrest, and we are doing those things that are ancillary to an arrest in terms of looking at an interview, making sure his needs are being met. And I can tell you that this is being headed up by our violent crimes unit. It was owing to the incredible alacrity of response times of patrol services that we were literally here within a minute and had already contained the situation, had already made an arrest and recovered a weapon. So from the standpoint of ongoing public safety, for the public's purposes, this matter has completely been compartmentalized, isolated. There is no ongoing threat to any members of the general public.
So at this point, we'll be talking with the suspect and trying to determine motive if we can. Certainly at this point, we're looking at most likely a first-degree intentional homicide, a tentative charge, and attempted first-degree intentional homicide charge. Of course, that could change depending on the status of the victim who's currently in the hospital. The chief and I can take some questions. Again, we have limited information we can share. And certainly what I'll be doing is updating our incident report page as the day goes along, and we'll put more details out as we can. But any questions for now?
Was the suspect arrested at the scene?
That's right.
Was he arrested at the scene?
Yes, the suspect was taken into custody at the scene.
Your original release said that there was a financial dispute that caused this?
Again, it'd be way premature for us to get into the reasons for why this violence took place. We've got a lot of detectives who are working on that. Certainly there are things that are broadcast over the scanner, and sometimes that information turns out to be true and sometimes it does not.
So do you know any relationships? Like, did the 2 victims know each other?
It's unknown, but because of the fact that this is a working auto service garage store, some of the inferences that you're getting might be that it was predicated on some sort of a commercial transaction gone awry, but that's very preliminary, and so we can't really comment until we know more.
But it is an auto body.
This is an automotive
services
shop.
Cars,
Yep.
repairs cars.
And it appear that the shootings, for the most part, took place outside near some vehicles that were being serviced.
Was it pistols?
I'm not. We have recovered the weapon.
It's
I
a
didn't see it.
handgun.
It is a handgun. So, but we have recovered the weapon.
I apologize if you already mentioned this. Do you know the condition of that second person?
The second person, I've been told, is in critical condition.
Can you kind of just generally speak? It's always sad when you show up and there's someone who's already deceased.
Well, of course, when things like this happen, of course, we have an ongoing crime scene that is our first priority after we've attempted to render aid. But the purview of notification, that is within the province of the medical examiner, who acts as basically an advocate for the body. So it's the medical examiner and their sensitivities to these issues that now takes precedence in terms of notifying the next of kin.
And in Madison, as you know, we have very few homicides generally each year. I believe we were at 3 before today.
Can you say do you know if you've had any previous contacts with the suspects that you've arrested in this case?
Well, all of our intelligence is currently being run through our intelligence section, and so all that coming to light later.
Were both the people that were shot employees of the auto shop?
I don't think we have that information at this time. Again, what's that?
Can you tell us the name of the auto shop?
I'm not,
It's not posted out there. It's 2003
I think
Freeport.
it's 2003 Freeport. I didn't see a name on the side of the business. Again, I've just arrived. The chief hasn't been here long either, so some of these details will come out. We just don't have them at the moment. We want to get you as much information as we could quickly so people understand what's taking place.
But
Can
just
you say how
just
you were able to respond so quickly? I mean, you said a minute response time. How were they able to?
Our West District, as you know, is just up the street, and we had an officer who was a minute away, and just happened to be in the area. Yeah.
Just to recap, Joel, the shooting took place outside.
To the best of my knowledge, from what I can see, and maybe the chief has seen more, our our victim, our deceased, is outside in an area where there are a number of vehicles that appear to be being serviced and worked on. I wasn't here to see where the victim who's been taken to the hospital was at the time of the shooting. I don't know if the chief has that information. Again, we can get that for you, but the suspect was outside. The victim who's deceased was outside. I don't know where that shooting took place that involved the person who's now at the hospital, but we'll get that information for you.
Are you aware that there was any sort of altercation, conversation that happened between the suspect and the victim before this
I think at this point, we're gleaning information from those who were here to tell us what they could, including the suspect, talking with him. But it'd be premature for us to really get into what they're telling us, particularly the suspect and or any of the victims, and what kind of conversations might have taken place. So that's something that we're going to have to vet through the detectives to see what can be released.
Did the suspect try to flee at all, or?
I don't think there would have been actually a time. Our officers were on this scene so quickly that everybody was contained and controlled, so there was no opportunity for flight.
There's no struggle at all?
No. At this point, too, we should also note, I think people know aware of, because there's a lot of kids and families that immediately upon this coming out, just as shots fired, we immediately activated our systems with Madison Metropolitan School District and with St. Maria Goretti nearby. So there was a temporary lockdown placed until we knew emphatically that this had been contained and controlled.
And as the chief, I think, has mentioned, there's no ongoing threat
None.
to the community here. The person who we believe is solely involved in the shooting is in custody. Correct.
So was there any injury to the suspect before he was taken into
I
custody?
checked with some of the detectives. He may have a sprained ankle or something like that, but he's not significantly injured.
Okay.
And again, I'll update things as we go along this afternoon.
Do you think another